Warning: the conversations in this podcast are performed by the cavemen. For your safety and the protection of those around you, please do not attempt to take anything you hear too seriously on the show, bruv.
I'm quite impressed. That was quite proper.
Oh, and he ain't even on the show yet.
Quite proper. Oh,
Quite proper.
I understand now. I understand.
Hey.
What's up, bitches? Welcome back to the cave. It's your boy Joreezy. I got Phil Burn with me. Bringing you another episode of the Cave Podcast. Before we begin, make sure you guys check out our website, cave.com. That's K4V3.com to check out our homepage where you can find the link to our social media pages and all our bios and our YouTube channel. But if you're lazy and you just want our handle, it's at the cave, K4V3. So tonight we're going to talk about the Spider-Man Brand New Day movie that we made predictions about 2-3 episodes ago. And we're here to review the movie because Zach and I personally have seen this movie and we're going to break it down. But before we begin, let me pass it off to Zach to talk about some interesting developing matters.
Yeah, dude. So, we haven't done an official sports show in a while. I think we'll be getting on track with that here going forward because, football season's right around the corner. But there's been some crazy, headlines lately. And specifically today, woke up to breaking news that the Lakers have been sold for the second time in under 2 years. And this time it was for $12 million.
Billion.
Yeah. Or 12.
Why sell it for $12 billion when you can sell it for $12 million?
$12 billion. My mistake. Mark Walter just did that gif of the kid running down the hallway and he's like, oh no, I'm out of here. Which is shocking. It's shocking for quite a few reasons. And obviously being here, on the Cave Pod, where we like to divulge into conspiracies. Mark Walter was in the headlines recently for being investigated for his investment portfolio by the feds. Mark Walter is also a part owner of the LA Dodgers conglomerate, which is with Guggenheim and Magic Johnson and a couple other people over there. So his purchase of the Lakers was kind of exciting at the time to get kind of that Dodgerification, if you will, of what they've been able to do in the game of baseball lately, and kind of bring that back over to the Lakers and see what we can do with basketball. So I was pretty shocked this morning when I saw that he then sold his shares of the Lakers for $12 billion with a B. And then the other parts that are shocking with this is obviously as a Laker fan, he essentially treated the franchise like a stock. He's just trading.
CryptoArena.com, baby.
Yeah, dude, it kind of sucks, man. Because that's a team that you would look at as prestigious as they are, and where their value is as a franchise in the sports world, not just basketball, but the Laker brand.
Yes.
Is when you acquire that, that's something that you should never want to give up. So. That raised my eyebrows to all this. And then the two figureheads of the purchase are Bob Iger, who ran Disney.
You mean Bob Iger?
I don't think that's how it's pronounced.
I thought it was Igor, but I saw it was Iger.
Oh, this is the classic Young Frankenstein. It's pronounced Igor. No, it's Frankenstein. And if you haven't seen Young Frankenstein, check it out. This shit's funny. Shout out Mel Brooks. But and Josh Kushner.
Joshua Kushner.
Yeah. And he's Donald Trump's son-in-law. He's married to Ivanka, right?
He's a Jew.
Right, but he's married to Ivanka. I'm just trying to get my facts straight here. So yeah, what kind of like a whirlwind, and it came together within the last 72 hours. What I read, and
Yeah,
like they approached him and offered. That's just weird. Like,
it was weird.
What would motivate someone to be like, hey, I know you just bought this team for $10 billion. Like, how about 12? You know, like just out of the blue. Like, there's just my eyebrows are raised, and I'm probably the lowest on the totem pole of all the cavemen in terms of like conspiracy theory interest and like, you know, diving too deep down those rabbit holes. But man, I got sucked in today, and this is set my head for a freaking spin.
I couldn't help but think about that. LeBron probably knew this.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we were chatting about this.
You know, to his decision making of, I'm not staying in LA. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because he was so like matter of fact about it.
You've reiterated that it makes sense to stay in LA.
Yeah, especially with how the team was formulated, and him being finally willing to like take a pay cut. Like, it's like when you pull yourself out of it and you look from like the macro level, like shit, like LeBron, just stay. Like, take a minimum, go with the city you're in. Your daughters be happy because you don't have to move her. Family gets to stay. Team got better. Like, retire a Laker, get your statue, get into the ring, and get out of here. But now, I'm like, okay, he probably knew, because if he was still on this roster today, when this news dropped, I don't know, with his like sphere of LeBron aura or whatever, like that'd be kind of a real fascinating thing to watch unfold, especially online.
It's hard not to make it political, but
super hard.
Like, it's weird. Recently, Trump was talking about LeBron, right? Something about, I don't know what exactly it was, but something about women and being gay or some weird shit.
Something about like he said something alluding to the way that he bounces the basketball or plays the game was feminine or something along those lines. I gotta look for the quote, but it was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the name? Ennis Cantor is
freedom
is what he's
she
eligible for, or she's eligible for to get drafted in the WNBA.
This is
Russell
where
Westbrook is retired. Apparently.
Yeah. Well, he was supposed to go
into Tel Aviv to play basketball in the Promised Land. Dude, what is going on?
It's kind of weird.
Does this make you think that we're past pure, genuine competitive sports, or we're in the sports entertainment era?
So that's
all across the board now. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's a very good question. It's a very high level question. If you look at it, if you pull yourself back from it, from like the narrow mindset, and look at some of these things that have been happening.
I mean, like, we've covered topics that, you know, could steer you into seeing it from that angle.
Right.
So
it's almost like sports are like jumping the shark kind of with some of the stuff that's going on. You know, I hate to use cliche phrases, but like ESPN, or not ESPN, TKO buys WWE, ESPN buys the rights, right? So now they get into the sports entertainment business. They already had UFC, which, I mean, it made sense, but like looking at it, you just made me think about something else, bro. So you got that going on. You got with basketball, all this stuff happened today. The Yankees, yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, but the Yankees sold off $2.6 billion worth of stake in their team to what's it called, an intermediate or something. I don't know the exact terminology, but they're essentially going the route that the Dodgers went into, where it's like you're not going to get that like mom and pop, not that a billionaire is a mom and pop, but like the mindset of a solo single owner of a team who has just a bunch of money, wants to buy a team, and they run it, and you know it has that singular figurehead. Now you're getting into a space where teams are going to start to be sold to multiple different people, whether it's to get influx of cash, or whether to, you know, better monitor like the rising cost of all of this. Like, tickets are going up, food and beverage is going up. Everything's getting more expensive, right? So you got to counter that because you have to pay people now higher rates too to like run your stadiums and run your businesses. That like some of these owners are looking at it like, damn, like this is getting like tough. Even though I am a billionaire, like it's everything's costing more. So why don't we just sell off some stake of my ownership? I'll still be the majority owner, but we'll get someone else in the room who might want a piece of this pie, and we can get an influx of cash right here. So like 2.6, the Yankees were able to cover their debt of what their stadium cost to build it. So now they're like debt free from their stadium because of this transaction. So, but when you like really dive into that, you're absolutely right. Like this is becoming sports entertainment, right? With some of the stuff that's happening, and it's changing, dude. Like the vibe and the feel and like the aura of sports is kind of changing day by day.
I blame Poly Market, Kalshi, and all that shit, but it's hard not to ignore. Now, since we're talking about sports entertainment, the fact that the Staples Arena, crypto arena, that like the team could suck, but fucking, you know what I mean? If Taylor Swift is sitting courtside with her new boyfriend, then that's gonna make headlines. Which is gonna lead traffic towards whatever news sources are out there. We have all these independent news sources now. You know, this new media now. It's hard. I wouldn't really want to limit it to political, but it's a lobby fest now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm seeing this with WNBA. Like at first we saw it with Caitlin Clark, and then we saw it with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and now we're seeing it with Cunningham. It's like I don't even know who's number one in WNBA. I just know like who's beefing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it's really sucks to the athletes too. That's not fair to them. And like the ones that are out there balling, dude.
You see that in the UFC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Person grinding, impeccable record. Probably isn't drawing as much people as the guy talking shit who, you know what I mean, doesn't have a ground game really.
The ones who generate clicks. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting because that also goes into a deeper rabbit hole where I think we should do this on another episode. The whole scandal between the Paramount UFC deal, the Skydance merger, and Donald Trump and the White House event. You know what I mean? Because, dude, for the UFC to be under ESPN, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's big.
I mean, for them to like get out of the contract after the first cycle of that contract and go straight to Paramount 100% confidently, you know what I mean, without hesitation, raises some questions, I feel like. And you look into the Bud Buddy relationship between Dana White and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's a little
raises
sus,
eyebrows.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And like to peel it back to the Lakers though too, like the Dodgers just had their White House visit. I don't know if you saw this a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
And they gave Mark
Twitter.
Walter, the guy who just sold the Lakers or his share of the Lakers, handed Trump a World Series ring.
Bro.
And like that got a bunch of attention. Obviously, people, whatever political side you lean on, like have different opinions on it. But at the same time, it's like
you're gonna see Trump in
strange.
The crypto arena. He's I mean, dude, I think he's fallen in love with the aura of him walking into UFC events and everyone cheering for him there. And I think he's felt.
He was at the finals, right, in the Garden.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think he got booed. I don't know which game, but I think he was there. But yeah, I think he knows how it feels to go into an arena and be booed, and he probably thinks, "Oh, it's because the fake news owns this arena and the team." You know, if they had better reporters, I'd be treated much differently, much better. But it's gonna be this for the next like 3-4 years, unfortunately.
I think it's gonna be just as long as he's breathing. He's gonna be like trying to be in the front and center of good, bad, or indifferent. Like he's gonna be around.
I'll take it back, bro. It's always been like this. You know, the names are just interchangeable. It's always been like a popularity.
Right.
Contest,
Some have definitely been more visible than others. Like for sure.
Sometimes I wonder if we're just getting older and we're understanding it, or they're just getting lazy.
100%.
They're just getting lazy and not caring too much to cover it up anymore. You know what I'm saying?
100% that we're becoming more aware, you know, as we get older for sure. Like, I mean, I remember when we were growing up 9/11 happened, and like it's funny
I thought it was
because
Osama bin Laden.
well, I know that's a whole different thing, but like people like to go back to that and say like that was like when we were the most united as a country. And I was thinking about it, like it feels like that could be said for every generation. There was a moment where that happened, and I feel like when people are talking about those moments, it's usually when they were young and a tragedy happened. And from like when you're looking at life through that lens of depending on where you're at in the stage of life, like you can see it definitely different. Like when I think back to it, I was like, yeah, we were, but I was also a kid going to school every day, and I was in middle school. I had no idea what the Middle East conflict was yet because we hadn't learned about any of the history yet. Like we were like Mesopotamian markets at that time.
You mean we were reading books from the other side?
Well, yeah, I know, but
which should be its own episode as well. So
yeah, like the education system and like what we're learning, of course. Of course. But that kind of goes to the point of like when you get older and you start learning and reading and experiencing, you then go back and remember what you were taught, and it's like, wait a minute. You start putting some stuff together. It's like, well, I don't know if it should have been worded that way because, that's coming from the point of view of whoever, right? Yeah. And who's to say that experience of the people or person that wrote that is the exact same that everyone else needs to share? Like that's not necessarily true because we all have different experiences and different viewpoints and different brains.
Let's be honest, bro. We were unitedly hating Muslims.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And that
so fucked up,
bro.
So
we have friends. We have friends that have that complexion and that upbringing.
Yeah.
And that shit was awkward, bro. Like for them. I mean, I wasn't like I hadn't joined the military yet and done all that stuff. But I remember like before and after that with some of our friends, and I was like, I felt bad for them, dude, because like you turn on the news and you're seeing your people, get fucking victims of hate crimes and shit. And it was just like hearing it at school too. Like that really sucked. I really felt bad.
Yeah, especially
I tried to empathize as much as possible.
Especially meeting people who don't come from places where there are those people.
Yeah,
I mean, of that demographic of people available to them. It's crazy. It's crazy, bro.
It's all part of life.
Yeah, it's funny how that all connects, though. Lakers, purchase, Kushner, Russell Westbrook, Tel Aviv, 9/11, Israel. It's so crazy.
Hey, but you know
and
what?
It ties into Spider-Man Brand New Day too.
I was gonna say
Mark
it's
Ruffalo was scrutinized for his political beliefs and his position.
A lot of actors are.
Yeah. War right now, and I hear that's why he wasn't really involved in the press and the promo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the Hulk was.
Hey, yeah, but I just wanted to like to relate it like transition wise. It's a big web, right? It's a big web that we crawl along, but there's always a brand new day.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness, that's a good one. Hold on. There we go. Where's it? There you go.
Bird dropped a banger.
Well, yeah, you know what?
Holy shit.
That could be its own episode, but we're here to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Let's have the fun stuff now,
What, dude, the highest grossing Marvel movie so far?
Wild, right? That is crazy to me, dude.
You know what? When we did the leak episode, Jermaine said that Spider-Man is Marvel's cash cow. And I said, over the Avengers, bro? Shit. It made more than Endgame. That's insane. Will it make more than Doomsday? I don't know, because I think this set a new high, which means, once the tide rises, then all the boats rise up with it type shit. You know what I mean? But we got some things wrong in that leak episode. There was no Gray Hulk. There was no symbiote. Dude almost died though. Bro, almost died.
Oh, hey, I was in that theater, and I was like in my head, like, yes, I'm about to be right. But I know people we're gonna be hella sad, dude.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
bro.
No, I know.
What else?
Yeah, we didn't get Grey Hulk.
The villain. Yeah, we didn't get Grey Hulk. The villain ended up just being Jean Grey, opposed to,
do we need to do a spoiler? No, I'm just kidding. Fucking who cares?
Oh yeah, the movie's been out like a week or two.
It's been out, I think longer than that, and it's the highest grossing Marvel opening weekend movie. So I don't give a fuck about a spoiler tag.
And you know what? I've seen this movie like 9 times, 1 in theaters and 8 on Twitter. So fucking just get on Twitter, dog. You know what I'm saying? And follow us at the Cave K4V3 because we'll probably retweet that shit. But yeah, the quality is not bad.
that was sick, dude.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So there's all this like, if don't watch Spider-Man because you're supporting the genocide. I watched it on Twitter, motherfucker. It's what it is. What it is.
You watched it on Elon's platform, dog.
On X. Blame Elon.
Sorry, X. Yeah. Formerly known as Twitter.
Before we get going with this review, bro, I want to start off with rating it. Let's rate it first before review and kind of go backwards and reverse engineer this.
Okay, what scale do we want to use, or do we want to like rate it within? I know this is kind of stupid.
I feel like when you rate it 1 through 10, like there's no like 1 through 6 doesn't matter as far as you know what I mean. Like it starts meaning something when it's like 8 or 9. So let's just rate it out of 1 through 5. 1 through 5.
1 through okay, so like stars almost. Okay,
yeah,
or webs. How many webs would you give this?
Okay, how many days would you give it?
Honestly, man, there's a lot in this movie. There's a lot that's not in this movie that a lot of people are pissed off about. Mm-hmm. And I want to dive further into that, but
write my notes right here, so I don't forget.
I definitely liked it better the second time I watched it.
I agree.
And that's usually not true about Spider-Man movies specifically. Usually the first time I watch one of them is like my favorite time watching it. But this one, because there was a lot more from the world building aspect that we've had from the previous 4 movies, I enjoyed it more a second time. I'm going to give it like 4.25 out of 5.
I'll give it. So I liked it as a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did really well. Zendaya did really well as Mary Jane.
She did good. This is probably her best performance as Mary Jane.
Dude, I felt the fucking connection between her and Tom Holland. It's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty strong.
Maybe because I watched The Odyssey too before this. Fucking,
that's a whole fucking review too, dude.
Yeah, that shit's. I liked it, but
brother, Travis Scott's the first. Sorry, don't want to get off track, but he's the first person we see in that goddamn movie, dude.
Yeah. Hold on, I got it. Yeah. It's lit.
Oh my god, dude! Sorry, that threw me for a fucking loop.
I want to give it a 3.5, but it's hard.
Okay,
I'll give it like a 3.9, almost.
A 4.
Not quite a 4, almost a 4. I would say
because a 4 is like an A, right?
Not the best Spider-Man movie, but Tom Holland's best performance as Spider-Man.
Yeah, definitely not the best Spider-Man movie. I want to get that on the record. Mm-hmm. Definitely not the best Spider-Man movie, and the fact that. Me personally, Spider-Man 2 still holds up to this day is super impressive. But that's on my Mount Rushmore of comic book movies.
Yeah. I actually thought that it made No Way Home a little better too. You know what I mean?
Interesting. You thought it made it better. People are saying it made it worse.
Well, because when you see him wishing for people to forget about him, you don't really get to see, like, you know how they played the 5-year blip.
Oh, yeah.
After the snap, it's like, damn, like this is really what happened in the 5 years, opposed to just hearing about, oh, everyone was gone for 5 years. You see, like, you know what I mean? Ant-Man looking for his daughter, you know what I mean? Tripping out looking for his daughter. You see people like coming back from the 5 years, like getting shit, like Gamora, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So you see the pain of Peter Parker having a fucking doom scroll Ned's and Zendaya's fucking social media.
That was way heavier second time,
dog. And I just feel like you felt the impact of that wish, opposed to just seeing it as, you know what I mean, the conclusion of that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And the every day going and dropping off flowers to the greatest Aunt May in movie history was very sad.
So I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of my gripes about it is
Okay.
I thought initially they were really promoting this as a comic accurate Spider-Man simply because they showed, you know what I mean, recreations of comic book covers in the scenes.
Yeah.
But this isn't comic book accurate, bro. Like Ned is, I don't care what anybody says. Ned is Hobgoblin, bro. He's the OG Hobgoblin.
I'm with you.
There was drama between the editors in Marvel. So due to technicalities, he is the OG official Hobgoblin. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And Ned's character is more like Genki's character in the Miles Morales comic book. In the Miles Morales story, which is the fat Asian guy in the seat who's making these Spider-Man apps to help out Miles Morales. You know what I mean? So it's not comic book accurate. Okay. So to me, that's not necessarily bad to go away from comic book accuracy, but when you're trying to promote it as, oh, look at this comic book cover, it's like the movie. I feel like it's false advertisement in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, dude, did Uncle Ben get fucking blipped? Like, did Doctor Strange erase Uncle Ben from the memory of Peter Parker as well?
Yeah,
dude?
but that is the one thing I will say about Holland's Spider-Man movies is like, we've had no Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact that I'm not like more upset about it, I think is a testament to how good these movies have been.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, it does take away from the story if you really, dive into that. Like, did he? Because Garfield experienced it, right? Toby experienced it. Holland didn't experience it. But to be fair, Aunt May got capped.
She got capped pretty bad.
Real bad.
She took it pretty well, though. She took it pretty well.
Yeah. Hey, big part of this movie, though. I was very happy to see Marissa Tomei in this movie.
So this stuff I'm hearing is people are tired of hearing the same old Uncle Ben stuff. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
And I guess it's fair, but it's not fair after Spider-Verse when they literally highlighted canon events. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's kind of where these Spider-Man conversations always end up, is like Spider-Verse. So it's big that you said that.
And I will give the benefit of the doubt to Marvel, the MCU, because Secret Wars is coming up, Doomsday is coming up, so they could just scrap all this and reset the timeline and introduce an Uncle Ben. I mean, yeah, people are tired of hearing about it and shit, but like, you can do it like they did in Spider-Verse, where they're like, all right, let's just do this one more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it is the part of a story. If you guys made a movie about me and you did it without me masked because of some kind of artistic fucking shut the fuck up, dude. I'm going to sue you. You know what I mean? That's my canon event. That's my like signature. You know what I got
to write that down to make sure that when we cast when we cast Jarvis to play you in the biopic.
The comic accuracy thing was something that I kind of was irritated by because of how they promoted it. And
were you disappointed in the level of it, like of how little that there was?
Also, I didn't think Jean Grey was like that much of an extremist. So even on the X-Men side, I was just kind of like, wait a minute, like Jean is like ready to get a body, dude. You know what I mean? Granted, if I was put in her shoes, I'd do the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But and she does go crazy being Phoenix. I don't know. I'm just not used to her, and I haven't dove into a comic book source that represents her in that manner. You know what I mean? But I guess my only thing was that Jean Grey was the main villain. Well, I guess Damage Control was the villain, but Jean Grey was the threat.
Yeah, she was the main antagonist in this movie.
Yeah, opposed to what we went over, where it was Tombstone as one of the villains kind of behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Boy, was that short-lived.
Yeah, seriously, dog. What the fuck?
Yeah, they just had to get those. They just had
Great casting too, though.
I will
Tombstone
never
was on point. I think.
I will never get mad at people who are the ones that are complaining about not having enough of the quote unquote comic book accuracy and how they felt it was just shoehorned into this, because it really was in that little montage where we got those comic book covers. And
Right.
I mean, they hit us with them, but man, it was so brief.
Yeah, it was.
In the grand scheme of things.
It was what you saw in the trailers, straight up.
Legit, there was nothing more than that. I heard someone say that if they would have just fleshed out those comic book covers in succession and have that be like the story of the main part of the movie, that they felt that the movie would have been better. Because it would have been like if you would have seen him grind through the years in between the spell and him finally like reconnecting with MJ and Ned, or trying to, that like we could have had some really cool shit to actually watch instead of it just being like a montage. I was like, that makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, to me, it's like, man, we put this in the trailer. Might as well fucking put this in the movie. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Yeah, because you don't want to be like accused of false advertising. So, I mean, if you're going to show it, you got to show it. But it definitely wasn't like, it was just hype for like the images, not for what those moments related to the story as a whole, except for being the filler for what he was doing with his spare time.
And talking about Tom Holland's Spider-Man in particular, like his whole lore isn't comic book accurate, being Tony Stark's sidekick.
That is a big discussion.
The Stark suits that he was wearing, you know what I mean? It wasn't comic book accurate. Like, stick to that. It was working, you know what I mean? I already said that I wasn't really sold on Tom Holland, but I accepted it. So just run with it. It was working, you know what I mean?
This was his best performance as Spider-Man, I think.
It was. Yeah, you know what I mean? Regardless of what
to his credit. Yeah, to his credit.
This was the best Tom Holland
This was the most that he's felt as Spider-Man to me.
Performance, I think. And, he's got the Peter Parker stamp now. It was cool to see him go through like serious Tobey Maguire-esque, you know what I mean, scenarios.
Yeah, that is true. There was some levity or some heaviness to the emotional stuff that he went through for sure. And it might have been because he was in his bag with Odyssey, like, like he kind of, that translated a little bit to this role.
All of them. I mean, Zendaya.
That's true. Yeah.
And brings me to my next point.
John Bernthal. Yeah.
John Bernthal was fucking, he did good.
He did good.
I honestly thought, Mandy and I were watching John and Tom's interview with the Hot Ones.
Oh, yeah. I saw that too.
And I was like, bro, I bet Disney told this guy to cuss like at least 5 times in each interview just to sell him as the Punisher.
True. Yeah, because they knew he wasn't going to do that shit in this movie.
Dude, I thought he was in the movie an appropriate amount of times. I don't think they
for sure. That was a plus. It wasn't too much. It wasn't too little.
A lot of people were making fun of what the fuck is the Punisher going to do against the Hulk. You know what I mean? I don't think
exactly what he did.
Yeah, they executed it perfectly, I thought. Yeah. And the fact that he was a threat to the people that, you know what I mean, he ended up becoming a threat to, I felt like that like really made him stand out as a threat in comparison to the Hulk and Spider-Man, which he's totally outclassed. It's out of his pay grade.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think he said that too, didn't he?
Yeah. A little callback.
Yeah. I've seen bits and pieces of his show. But I haven't like fully dove into that yet. So, I definitely want to. I think I'll go back and revisit this movie after, doing the Punisher thing and then appreciating it a little bit more. Cause this definitely felt like it didn't feel what I was expecting to with him, because I just assumed like his character, just based on what I know of the Punisher, was just so freaking dark that this one kind of was like, oh, this is very light for what I know about Punisher, but it's what the movie called for. And it was interesting to see, now that I think about it, you know, hindsight, that he was the majority of like the alleviation of the heavy stuff that Peter was going through. Was he got to like do his little bickering with Frank and like, you know, do those little those scuds to each other. It was fun.
That it was cool how they executed. Like he ended up becoming the lighthearted moments, despite like the fucking serious stoic dude.
They didn't have to rely on like Ned like they do in every movie.
Yeah, and
which was cool. Which is something they had to work around because he's not really there. They doesn't know each other. Like they didn't interact much.
I'm glad you brought up Ned. I'm not hating on Ned. I made that post saying that, you know, if he doesn't turn into the Hobgoblin, write him the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Just kill him too.
I think when in a movie where you have to show that Peter Parker is serious, you still need a comic relief because it's a Spider-Man movie. You know what I mean? Spider-Man's a quippy, smart ass. That goes through serious shit, but still is able to be a smart ass because he's Spider-Man. And I think Ned is able to do that without Peter being corny all the time. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And there was not a lot of corny Peter shit in this movie, which was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. But like, I'm tired of the tease. Like, you keep teasing that Ned's gonna turn to Hobgoblin. Like,
I know. I'm not there yet. I'm not on the same level as you of being annoyed by it. I continuously am surprised with every movie that, like, yes, we haven't gotten there yet, but it's like, I mean, just to compare something, this is a lot of foreplay right now with him.
Yeah, way too much for me.
I guess depending on how much you like it, depending on how much you enjoy foreplay, it's kind of like where you're at with the Ned stuff in the Spider-Man.
I need some brand new pants, yo. Sheesh. Sheesh.
It definitely has to be here soon, though. I feel like, just for me, like, even though I'm like, oh, cool, I can probably do another movie, maybe two. I do acknowledge, though, that it's been like the next movie that we have and Ned's in it's going to be like at least the fifth one. So like, we need a Tom Holland Goblin in this universe. We need an Earth 616 Osborn Goblin, which I think was very briefly hinted at, if you caught it, with the job interview that MJ had.
Oh, so interesting that you brought that up. Hobgoblin is actually supposed to be that archetype. He's supposed to be like this businessman with no morals. So there's the connection. So this is what happened. Ned was supposed to be the original Hobgoblin. No. This one guy, the CEO, his name is I forget his name. Rodney Kingston, I believe is his name.
It wasn't Osborn, right? Initially,
it wasn't Osborn, but Hobgoblin took Osborn's stuff to become Hobgoblin.
Got it.
So they have to coexist because he gets his tech from him on some, you know, I got my tech from Tony Stark type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the story goes, Roderick Kingsley is his name. He is the CEO businessman with no morals, and he brainwashes Ned into doing his shit for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it almost seemed like Ned was the one that got, MJ that interview, because he was like, "Did you go? Like, you have? Yeah, please tell me you went." And he was,
he was
about,
very
like,
invested,
the benefits and all that. You know what I mean?
Which is funny.
Yeah, which was funny.
Yeah.
So that was a hint to Hobgoblin again.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
But it was, according to the leaks, Harry Osborn was supposed to be MJ's boyfriend. They never named MJ's boyfriend.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, so I wonder if, he had a bigger role, but they cut it in post editing.
I wonder if because when they were editing this, Doomsday was wrapping up or something, or Secret. Have they done Secret Wars yet? They haven't started yet. Huh?
I don't think they've started yet. Yeah.
But they definitely know what they're gonna do. So maybe they whatever plan they have for Spider-Man after this movie is, you know, set is written in pencil at least, and they had to maybe change some stuff, so they maybe had the same dialogue and same moments and flow from this movie, but they changed the words specifically to like not be so on the nose.
And it looks like the next movie that Tom Holland is going to be in is Secret Wars. I think he's skipping.
Yeah, this is another interesting,
right?
Yeah, another interesting
it
thing.
could directly lead into that. And let's talk about the post-credit scene.
Let's do it.
What is that? What is that? What do you think that is?
Yeah, so I'm glad you worded it that way because I don't know what it is specifically. But my theory, and this is kind of where people have, I think the biggest problems people have with this movie specifically is because a lot of the bigger questions that people want answered are left to interpretation because we weren't told specifically where people are at in this movie in terms of remembering stuff.
Yeah.
But my interpretation is that like what I'm going to predict or what I'm going to like, you know, think is the most likely scenario is that it picked up one of the other Spider-Man's presences from a different world.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be Toby.
Okay. I think
because it sounds like Garfield is not, he hasn't been answering Spider-Man questions.
Interesting, right?
The way that he has in the past when he is involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we haven't heard anything from Toby, but the rumors are that Toby will be in both Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Right.
So I'm thinking that's a tease for Toby.
I think so too, and I think that's the highest likely outcome, you know, an explanation for that. I like to think Miles Morales.
Okay, I hadn't thought there yet.
But that's so out there, you know what I mean?
The other one I was thinking of is that it's picking up Tom's signal on Battle World.
That's also, I think that's a second runner-up.
Yeah. Which has to happen. We have to get Battle World, dude.
Right.
Like, cause if they're doing a 2-part movie like they did with Infinity War and Endgame, we're gonna have to have another villains win the movie. Like Doom has to win Doomsday. His name's on the fucking title.
Right.
And in order to get to Secret Wars, where it's like a bunch of different variations of everybody and the Young Avengers, like everything in totality, like something has to happen to bring them all together. And it's like, well, Doom's gonna fucking win, and then everyone's gonna get, you know, what's the word, reincarnated or revived on Battle World.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm telling you right now, dude, if they really dive into that and really buy into that, like maybe not with a comic accuracy like you always talk about, right? Maybe not to the T, but if enough of it satisfies the like heart and soul of that storyline, it's going to be bigger than Endgame.
Right. No, I think so too.
They have a very big thing on their hands if they do this right.
And bro, how much money can they sell on merch? You know what I mean? Putting out Avengers merch, X-Men merch,
yes,
Doom merch, Spider-Man merch.
And the fallout from all of that, like the fallout from Secret Wars, will set them up for another 20 years.
Yeah,
easy.
I mean, to me, dude. To me, that's you throwing your fishing lines with, you know, your bait as different superheroes to see which, you know, series we should focus on next on Disney Plus. You know, which way the next phase should go. Oh, dude, they really like fucking, you know, what's the name? Wanda's kids. Let's make a spinoff.
Oh,
of that.
yeah,
You know what I mean, they're supposed to be there. It's so insane because I said all those names of different merch that they can do, but you could break down Avengers to like all of them, you know, Iron Man, Hawkeye, if you want, Black Widow, Captain America, and X-Men. That's Wolverine, dude.
X-Men's
Cyclops is starting to be like just as much of an iconic character as Wolverine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out X-Men 97, by the way.
Yeah, which dude is putting some respect on all their names.
100%.
It's good to see Nightcrawler be fucking respected, bro. He fucking whooped everybody's ass.
Yeah, but I mean, they brought in a new Black Panther. Like they're doing a future like where he's grown up, like the son's grown up now, like they're doing some things to where like, okay, they're setting themselves up to do another phase, but not for the sake of just doing the next phase. Like they're actually, it feels like they're putting a lot more effort into like the bigger, like the grand scheme of things, which is awesome. And but I feel like where that takes away though is like when you do this Spider-Man movie and you have the bad guy be Jean Grey, it's like, okay, so this movie was really just her introduction. Like that's how people can think and interpret this movie, you know? And that does take away from Spider-Man and all the cool shit that he does and has done in the comics and in movies, to where it's like, this was another movie where supporting non-direct Spider-Man characters took a lot of the shine. Like Homecoming, you had Tony Stark, right? No Way Home, you had Nick Fury, right? Who were like around a lot. That was the least one from like other heroes. But like,
you had Doctor Strange.
That was Far From Home. That was Far From Home. No Way Home was Doctor Strange and Toby and Andrew and all, like literally the most gratuitous
and they
usage
weren't,
of other
they
characters.
Weren't Tom Holland's villains. They were Toby and Andrew Maguire.
Exactly.
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Yeah.
Villains. Right.
So I get the complaints of that too. Like, I mean,
bro, like, and as much hype as they put on Scorpion, if I was Scorpion, I'd be fucking a little upset and a little impatient. You know what I mean? Like, put some respect on my name, bro. Like,
Scorpion's dope, dude.
Yeah, Scorpion was up. I feel like he was up there in the same caliber as Rhino and Vulture. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah. Sinister Six. Yeah.
They're making him like a jabroni, almost like Shocker, just like a pest.
But what that also has done though, and like to where I think people would have slighted Spider-Man, like where it's going, if like it made so much money that you cannot doubt Spider-Man, right? Like you can't, whatever thing you want to say about it, whatever, like it's still making money. It just topped the highest grossing movie in fucking Marvel's history, right? And the fact that like we haven't had Venom, we haven't had any of the Goblins, like buddy, like there's still a lot to do. We haven't had Doc Ock, right?
Yeah,
I mean we had a different Doc Ock, but not this one.
I'm wondering if that's why they're literally, well, there is a weird contract stipulation with Sony making villain movies. You know, I think they have to put out a movie once. They have to put out a movie every year or two in order to keep the license.
Keep the IPO. What a deal that was too for Sony. Dude, crazy.
Just keep it for PlayStation games and Spider-Verse movies, bro. You know
yeah. Don't do the live action shit. Just do the cartoon stuff and the games because you're killing it with that. Like undefeated.
I guess that's also the gripe. We were talking about Tom Holland's villains, and the potential villains are getting wasted. We got Scorpion, that was, you know what I mean, just an everyday bad guy. Tombstone, which we thought was going to be the main bad guy, was literally just a cameo. All the other cameos I'm fine with, you know, Tarantula, all those dudes, I don't really give a fuck. But you know, Kraven the Hunter's a huge one, and we wasted him with Sony. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fun storyline too.
Will they ever come over to MCU? I don't know. Morbius, that was an interesting storyline. They wasted him in Sony, you know.
They wasted him Sony,
The Madame Web stuff, they wasted that with Sony.
Dude, that would have been perfect for this movie. They literally
brought Carnage in. They did an okay job, I thought. Yeah, you know?
Shout out Woody Harrelson. He did his best.
All right, at most. Okay, at most.
The Madame Web stuff would have been perfect in this movie, I think.
I think the Madame Web stuff, if I'm not mistaken, in the animated series directly led to the Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, it did. Yes, 100%. That's wild, huh? Right? Yeah. That wow. You would have really. Oh man, whatever. Shout out Dakota Johnson.
Shout out Sydney Sweeney, bro. So all this criticism towards Tom Holland, I will say this: when
we've been talking about a lot of criticism too.
When I see Secret Wars and I see all these crazy characters interacting with each other, the Peter Parker and the Spider-Man I want and I feel like is the most appropriate to interact with all those characters to represent Spider-Man the most accurately is Tom Holland, I think. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Andrew Garfield looks like Spider-Man, and I thought killed it in that scenario of the Amazing Spider-Man series.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'd do well with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine or, you know what I mean, Tony Stark's Iron Man. Chris Evans is in comparison to Tom Holland, and I don't think
Toby.
I think Toby's too old to be Peter Parker. You know what I mean?
It would look weird, I think.
So I think Tom Holland, his size and his, I don't know, he has chemistry with all the MCUers. So I think, you know what I mean? He's the right pick to interact with all those people, which is friendly neighborhood Spider-Man who, you know what I mean, collaborates and teams up with everybody else.
Yeah, he's done those big events. Like his first movie was Civil War. Like, so he's done the having to get along and team up.
He's the only Spider-Man in the Avengers. So, you know what I mean?
Correct.
Proven he can work with people. And he's worked with X-Men. First one to work with an X-Men in the MCU.
That's true. I do like some of the really cool shit that I did, like the web slinging did feel like the video games, which was cool.
Oh, there was a lot of homages paid to the video games.
Yeah, they did a good job with that. I liked the cameras inside the mask. I thought that was really fucking cool.
Yeah, me too.
Because I don't think we've seen that before. Like that was really dope. I love seeing when you have a character like this, and when you have, like with Batman. Like I really love that warehouse scene in Batman vs Superman where we saw the fight from that angle, because we haven't seen fights like that before. But like, and in this movie, seeing stuff like the web slinging, how it looked a little different, and the camera angles from inside the mask, like the new stuff that you can bring out after the 10th Spider-Man movie, like that's amazing. Good job. I'll always give kudos to that.
Mm-hmm. I like how creative he was with the the web attacks. That web tornado, I thought was
tornado was sick. Yeah,
the most innovative web attack I've ever seen from an on-screen Spider-Man. And I like the depiction of when he fully gave into the spider powers.
Yeah, and embrace it,
dude. I'm telling you, because of spider senses, nobody can touch. Peter Parker.
Yeah,
I saw a breakdown of the spider senses. He's pretty much omnipresent. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, dude, you saw it. He had his mind possessed, and he still sensed the fucking sniper shot, bro. Like,
yeah, dude.
The only one to like avoid Doctor Strange getting into his body or getting into his soul, like
push Jean Grey out multiple times.
I think the spider sense can counter Doom's IQ and his craftiness and his wisdom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, my prediction is that he's going to be the biggest catalyst to defeating Doom in Doomsday, or in Secret Wars. I feel like it's going to be Spider-Man.
It might be a reference to that one scene from No Way Home where he used geometry in that mirror world. You know?
Yeah,
we might see something like that against Doom. I think,
but also too because of the emotional investment over fucking decade now of, you know, Tom Holland as Peter Parker and Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Like that's going to come into play. I feel like that's going to be a big thing, and that's where they're going to make their money, is having like those interactions. Like that's going to be arguably the biggest, most anticipated interaction in either of these movies, is those two being on screen together face to face.
Bro, if they change this after Secret Wars where he ends up not becoming Tony Stark's sidekick, but almost like looking up to Doctor Doom, because Doctor Doom was in the original like Spider-Man comic, like the first one, you know what I mean? So, you know, Spider-Man crossing over with X-Men is comic accurate. Spider-Man crossing over with the Fantastic Four and the Avengers is comic accurate. Spider-Man coming together, going head to head against Doom is also comic accurate. So it would be funny if after Secret Wars they flipped Tom Holland Spider-Man into the most comic accurate by, you know, making that relationship with Tony Stark and Peter Parker not that, and becoming a Spider-Man versus Doctor Doom relationship. And if they go woke and they change
Jesus Christ.
if they change Aunt May and change her sex to being a male, and they're like, oh, he's Uncle Ben now.
Oh my God. Michael Tomei,
we
not
can really
Marissa
have a
Tomei.
comic accurate Spider-Man.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
but that's so fucking funny. I do think that they could hand it off though. They can hand off him with having that father slash uncle figure go from Robert Downey to being fucking Pablo Pascal and Mr. Fantastic. That might be kind of cool. Like that interaction would be fun too, dude.
Right, that would be way fire.
Yeah,
Way fire.
oh, there's a lot of potential, dude. I actually became more excited for Marvel going forward after this movie, and I know Tom has been talking a lot, and this is kind of like where like the downside of this whole thing. Like we get so excited for all these movies, we get so excited for the possibilities, but these fools are like real actors, of like real human beings who get old and get older. And he's like already like, I already have a plan for like who's going to take over for me. It's going to be Miles Morales. Like, but he's already talking about it. So like to me, that's like he's kind of already working on his way out. How far out the door he is, probably very like he might have just turned the knob, but he's like on his way out. And I think it kind of sucks because this was the best or the most I've enjoyed watching Tom Holland play Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's finally like, I feel like he's found the flow of being Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now he's talking about leaving. I'm like, fuck.
Independent of like media promotion and like,
yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, like just sticking to the context and the boundaries of this film and this character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, shit, man. Favorite part of this movie?
Oh, shit. Embracing the mutation, embracing the spider sense, and fully committing to it, and having it be like reassurance because MJ was the one that told him like, "Oh, you seem normal," like, and him being like, "Oh, fuck, she's right." Like, let me just take this in. That was my favorite part because now, like, that sets him up. That's more important, I feel like, to him than the fucking Iron Spider suit now at this point. Like, just in the realm of these movies, like him having that, we're gonna see some cool shit going forward. That was my most hype part of this movie.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I will say this before I say mine. You know, people were saying that, oh, I'm tired of seeing Uncle Ben. I want to see something different. Oh, I'm tired of seeing the Osborn. I want to see something different. Dude, we saw Peter Parker get used to his powers again, bro. How many times do we have to see that shit? So I'll throw that back at you. You know what I mean? You really like this movie. I heard a lot of people say that this was the best movie. Again, I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, my favorite part was probably, the scene against the hand. I thought that was badass.
Yeah, at the end, yeah.
And I mean, metaphorically, it was Tom Holland embracing Spider-Man, just like Peter Parker embraced.
I like
Spider-Man.
that. You know, I didn't think about that. I like that. That's good. That's really good. Man, that's pretty tight. Obviously I like how much do these guys remember now of him before the spell? And I think that's one of the biggest gripes people have with this movie is like it dampened the spell. It made it less important. We don't what am I supposed to think now? Like, does Mary Jane, like, why was she crying when she was under Jean Grey's control? Like, does that mean that she remembers him? Like, Ned said Peter at the end when they did their handshake. Does that mean we need these questions answered? I'm personally like, I'm down to watch another movie to find all that out. Like, I don't need to be, have the instant gratification. I like the long play and I like the interpretation. I know what I feel like and what I think, but I don't think anything can be dampened by what happened at the end of this movie because we saw him go through this shit, like you said, doom scrolling, dude, for the first 30 minutes of this movie. Like,
that hit, bro.
And I, people can laugh and like downplay that as a viewer to like be like, man, that shit, I felt that. Because it's technology and how everyone has their fucking theories or viewpoints on how attached we are to our phones. But we grew up in that generation, like, with the evolving technology. And like, that is how people cope. And that is how people, live through others via the screen. Like that shit there is some attachment there.
One of those things that you don't realize you're doing it until you see it in other people. And you're like, oh,
yes,
shit. Like that's what that shit looks like.
Yeah.
At least that's how I felt when I saw that. It's crazy.
I do love the memes though of like going back and how do you change the spell to like make people do it in an easier way, and it was like, can you make the spell be where people forget Mysterio's message from Far From Home, and it's like end credits, because that was the down part, right? Everybody knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man. That was the whole reason why No Way Home happened. But like, I enjoy all that stuff because it's funny, it makes me laugh. But I like to still operate like with wrestling. I keep it kayfabe, so I'm gonna operate under that environment, dude. Like, I was surprised that Chad Gable was fucking El Grande Americano. I had no idea, dude.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Damn. I keep it kayfabe.
Yo,
it's the magic of these things, dude.
Side note, dude, Braun Breaker must be hating this whole fucking Vision.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at how
that they're on right now.
Look at how attracted he is to Obafemi, dude. Every chance he gets, he's like, me and him.
You need to give this dub to Braun Breaker. This needs to go to Braun Breaker.
Yeah, he's got to start getting some. Yeah. Otherwise, like, these stare downs aren't going to mean shit. Hey, this is crazy. I know I don't want to wrap it up here soon, but I'm getting a little Rock vibes from Solo, dude. I feel like
dude.
I feel like he's he's on his way, bro. I'm getting like he's a Monday Night Raw promo segment with a freaking silk shirt from me being all in. Like, it's close. And now he's back with the bloodline, dude. All these potentials with him now being who he is.
I cannot wait to see the initial interaction
I'm so excited.
On Monday Night Raw. Is it gonna happen SmackDown or what?
It's gonna be on Raw for sure.
Okay, cool.
But dog, with the warning shot, and he was like,
you guys right back there?
I fucking died, dude. I'm all in on Solo right now.
Me too, bro. It's insane that he came from, like, the silent stoic,
yes, the assassin,
to the guy with the mouth who's fucking Uno reversing Jey Uso shit,
and like making them break, bro. Like, he's entertaining them too. It's the same shit The Rock did.
I need to see Jacob Fatu break. I need to see Solo.
That's tough.
Break. And I know
that's gonna be tough. Yeah, he's gonna say some shit, and then Jacob's just gonna have to like cut that smirk out and call him a punk ass like he always does. But I will say, though, what's cool about Solo is that we had all those years of him doing cool shit and being heavily involved with like the biggest storyline. And like, yes, Jay got the first shot, and obviously Jimmy, like, Naomi had a kid or got pregnant and all that stuff, so he didn't really get his his glow up. But like, Jay was the immediate like beneficiary.
And they did push Jacob a little bit too. Yeah,
Jacob when he came in, but like Solo was the one who was like the legit right-hand man when you think about it, that helped Roman the most to stay in power. Yeah. But he has, like, that stuff doesn't go away now because we're so far removed from it. Like, that's still part of Solo's lore. So like for him to have that and come where he is and now be entertaining as like a comedic character, but also like he can still wrestle. Like, I'm excited, dude. Definitely feeling Rock vibes.
I am nervous that they are pairing him with LA Knight because they fumbled LA Knight, and a lot of people are pissed off that Solo is starting to bloom and they put him back in the bloodline when they felt like they should just make him develop on his own. But anything with Roman Reigns is better. I don't care what you say.
Here's what I'll say to that point, though, is if you do it the right way, you're never buried in pro wrestling. There's always a way out. It's gonna take creative to do it, like it's gonna take the writers to do it, but like people are never buried as long as you hit the right moments. And it takes a lot of timing too, with like what's hot and like what's viral and all that shit. But like, I mean, The Miz brought the IC title back to prominence. Like, The Miz did that, like people thought he was buried, and Daniel Bryan was, whether or not purposefully being buried or not, but like he came out of that. Like, it's never over. Yeah. So I feel like LA Knight, this is what I was really into. Like, now you have a unique situation where I know you will hate this, but
tag titles with Solo?
No.
Okay, good.
But if Solo costs Roman the title and LA gets it, that could be a huge fucking moment. I know. But for LA Knight though, that could be a huge moment in the history of like of the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slap you back to factory settings. This fucking guy, dude. Still
Even
getting
if-
pops, man.
Even if it's for a week or two, I guess.
Because he's still getting the pop week or two. Damn. But he's still getting the pops. If you have that, you have everything in wrestling, dude.
If that happens, he is 120% getting the Sami Zayn treatment with that I must say.
Oh, bro, on the other side. Yeah, we probably have to do KBW here pretty soon, dude. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we
So what do
definitely
you want to talk about, Cody? There's a lot to talk about.
I fucking hate that shit.
Hey. But
What do you want to talk about?
I don't have to be the good guy anymore.
Yeah, let's turn him heel, man. Let's turn him heel. All
Hey,
right,
Randy's the
everybody.
perfect one to do that.
Spider-Man, brand new day.
Yeah.
It's me, Joreezy, here with Feel the Burn. Got to get back on here, talk about some wrestling. I honestly thought John Moxley was going to pay a visit type shit.
Yeah, my son did too.
Yeah, but who knows?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was stupid to think that. I thought after he didn't show up, I'm like, dude, this guy hates WWE. What the fuck was I thinking, bro?
Yeah, bro. I don't even know if he's gonna do a Hall of Fame thing, dude, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But
pew.
Make sure you guys follow us at the Cave, K4V3, and check out our website, cave.com, K4V3.com. Peace out, bitch. Hey, did you know Stanley was Jewish?
Yes.